Okay, let's start. 1, 2, 3. My name is Loc.
And my name is Bible.
Okay, let's go to the last topic. So what is that? Gosh. Okay.
Get the baseball bat.
Welcome to TableDropZone. My name is Loc.
And my name is Holger. And today we will talk about one thing we all love, rolling dice.
Yeah, dice. We have so many beautiful dice here.
One little disclaimer before we start. Sorry for our voices, we're a little bit under the weather, but we will still try to give you entertaining and pseudo-scientific video on how to best roll dice.
Yeah, because we have so interesting questions. That's why we cannot wait until we fully recover to tell you guys.
We need to tell you now. So we were sitting on a breakfast table and we came up with the idea of how to actually roll dice properly. What's the best way? Because there are a couple of people on Facebook and people we met that have very different ways of rolling dice and very interested in seeing how they did it. And we're kind of like, well, what's actually the best way to do it if you want to have a certain outcome? And so a little disclaimer here, what we are going to show you is a purely academic scientific approach to the problem. The real world application of this is questionable, at least, but I think it's a fun topic, and also understand that we completely space-brained this, so this is like way over the top, and in the end you should just do what you feel most comfortable with, what you have most fun with. And if it fully goes against what we say here, then all the power to you. This is really just if you want to have a bit of a scientific, mathematical approach, statistical approach to this whole thing, well, here you go. Yeah,
let's start with the first question. Is that rolling dice random or not?
And the answer is no. You might have thought yes, but no. Actually, rolling dice is predictable. However, only if you can 100% replicate the input, which you cannot. Because already the slightest change in rolling angle, rolling height, rolling distance, rolling strength, surface, friction, whatever, already makes the output unpredictable.
So in general, there are so many factors that can affect the result. So if you control on the input, then the result kind of like stable. But in reality, we can't.
You can simply not do this as a human being. Now, this is not our research. We are linking 2 papers below, actually 1 paper and 1 article below that states this. The dice itself is not random, but due to the input factors it becomes random. And with that, we can fully disregard the dice for the further research, because we have proven that essentially we have a random number generator, and with that we can use any random number generator. So we now go to the second question.
What's the difference if we use 1d12 dice or 2d6 dice for Battletech? Ooh. Why make it simple, like use d12? Why we have to use 2d6?
Exactly. And for this, what we did is we essentially rolled dice. Of course we did not. We used the most powerful application ever created by man, Excel. So we just ran a number of simulations in Excel and created this wonderful chart that you're going to see right here for rolling 1d12.
So as you can see, all the chance for different result kind of like balance. So it means that the chance you will get 1 or 12, it is similar like the chance you get 5, 6, 7, something like that.
Exactly. What you also have to understand is that since a 1 technically doesn't exist in the rules of Battletech, a 1 is a 2. and that means for rolling a 2, you have double the chance than for everything else. Also, the possibility to roll a crit is just as high as to roll any other number. What this leads to is a linear progression in your chance depending on your target value. So if you want to roll an 8, it's just a little bit higher chance than if you want to roll a 7. On the other hand, if you roll 2d6s,
you can see the result very different here.
Now what does this graph remind you of? Now who has paid attention in math class? What this essentially means is that your highest chance to hit anything is about in the center, somewhere between 6, 7, 8. And that makes it very unlikely to roll a crit. Why does this chart happen? Well, the reason is you have exactly one possibility to roll a crit. That means both dice have to be a 6. But you have several possibilities, for example, to roll a 7, which is 5 and 2, 4 and 3, and so on and so forth. Then each dice can have that value.
Yeah.
This is mathematically very obvious why it happens the way it happens, but what this also means is that you have an exponentially higher probability to hit the better you are positioned. Right? Where with D12 it's linear, here it's exponential, making the positioning of your mech and the shooting phase after it a more reliable strategy from a purely strategic point of view. Right? If you have a well-positioned mech, let's say you have a target value of 6, the likelihood of you hitting is a lot higher than if you roll with a D12. Whereas if you're poorly positioned, it is a lot lower than if you roll with a D12. Making the whole strategic aspect of Battletech a lot more powerful with 2d6s.
So we will come to the last topic, that how should we roll the dice for the game?
Exactly. So there are two types of rules, right? The first one is that you roll once for the complete damage. So if you have a Mad Cat, a medium distance, then you roll once. If you're successful, you deal 7 damage. If not, you deal 0 damage. The second rule set is the advanced rule set, where you roll once for each point of damage. So if you have a Mad Cat and you deal 7 damage, then you roll 7 times.
Yeah.
For each 1 point of damage.
So it means that's like one way, like times several. One is going to make the game much longer.
Exactly.
But what's the point of different way?
So let's look at some data. What we did here before I show you the chart is we simulated the two setups with 7 different mechs ranging from 1 damage to 7 damage. And we wanted to know if there's a difference in amount of shots over the course of 4 rounds with a target value of 8. Here's the chart. So as you can see, first of all, one thing that surprised me is the amount of damage you cause that we see on the table is approximately the same. So there's like, depending on simulation, some had higher here, some had higher there, but roundabout there is not much difference in damage you deal. However, if you look at the blue ones, the blue one is all or nothing. One roll hits it all. The orange ones is 1 roll for each hit, or for each point of damage. And as you can see, the reliability is the difference. Because the orange one kind of always hits something, and this is the interesting part, because that means that you essentially get a better level of strategy using 1 roll for each point of damage.
Yeah, it depends on your characteristic. If you want something really depend on the luck, or you want kind of extreme emotion when you roll the dice, you should only roll once, because with the big mech like Mad Cat, hit or miss is very different. Because if you miss, oh my god, I feel that it's so painful. But if you hit, you can immediately destroy your enemy.
Exactly. What this also does is, if you look at the orange bars again, a mech with more shots has a higher probability of generally hitting. And this makes powerful mechs, assault mechs, heavy mechs, a lot more into a reliable unit than into a powerful unit. And this changes the role of the mech on the battlefield compared to the one role situation where it's like this big cannon that fires and you may miss, and then you have shot out your heaviest weapon and that's it. If you roll for every hit, you essentially have a very, very high chance that the probability is on your side. And this is an aspect you cannot neglect if it comes to strategy. Because what this essentially means is that the strategic value of each mech is played out a lot better according to pure academic science if you roll once for each hit.
Yeah, so in the end, as we mentioned, it really depends on how you enjoy the game and want to play the game originally or in the house way, in the house room. Does it make you feel more fun?
Exactly. So in the end, this is just the science, and this is very academic, and the real world situation is probably a little bit different because there are a lot of factors involved that we have simply cut out of the whole equation to make it more approachable. If you wanted some numbers and some science to understand better how to tendentially get your game into a certain direction, more strategic or more gambly and more luck-based, then here you go. The best way to play Battletech strategically is to use 2d6 and roll for each hit once. That's essentially what we can tell you with the research. And if you want to play it more luck-based, use a d12 and roll once for the full damage.
Yeah. Or to something in between with a d12 and with several dice.
Exactly. So that's essentially all there is to it. You can find everything we researched down in the description. We are going to probably put a little bit of a text on our website for this because it is an interesting topic. And if any one of you wants to dive into this a bit deeper, then we would love to see a video or whatever research you do on that. Again, this is not scientific, this is pseudo-scientific, our sample sizes were too small. But I think this shows, it gives a good idea of something that is actually already kind of understood and known, right?
Yeah. And please comment and let us know the way you roll the dice. Maybe you have better way than we play normally.
Exactly. It would be very interesting to see if someone overcomes this pure luck-based hurdle and really gets a more strategic value into the whole thing. Else, if you like this video, please subscribe and like it. This would help us immensely, and that's it. That's all we have for you today.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.